Greetings and salutations, students. I want to spend some time going over examples of how to translate the future active and the future middle in example sentences. These come from Clayton Croy's 12th lesson, and these are the practice and review sentences. We're going to do 3 examples. Let's get into it. So the first sentence I want us to look at is lesson 12 is sentence number 2. I'm going to read it aloud in Greek, break it up into its constituent parts, and then go over how to translate it. Tate men uk egnoskomen tas hudas tes erenes. Nun de elusetai ha prophetes kai anoixen tain cardian hemon. Now, this tain cardian hemon repetition here is actually a mistake. This shouldn't be in your text. I don't know why it's here. So, breaking up into constituent parts, we see this comma right here so that we can separate the sentence and go, okay, let's do this first part before the comma. Tate men uk egnoskomen tas hadus tes erenes. So right away we have a transition word tate, then. We also have men in these men de clauses, so you can see a de here. And mende can be translated on the one hand, on the other hand, but often mende functions as an untranslated structuring device within a narrative. So what it's doing in the sentence is it's sort of saying, well, you have this over here, and then you have this right here. And so it's a structuring device. And in this case, I'm actually going to leave it untranslated. But if you're going, no, this is for a quiz, I want to make sure I get this translated correctly, you can say, then on the one hand, but on the other. That's fine to translate it that way. So, tate men uk egnoskomen. So, gnoskomen, this is from our verb I know, gnosko. So, great, we have our verb gnosko. But what's interesting about this particular word is we have this epsilon prefix. Now, whenever we see that epsilon prefix, we should have little lights in our brains going off, going, whoa, 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 whoa. Why do we have an epsilon prefix? At this point, if we see an epsilon prefix, we're looking at an imperfect. And then we can go back and look at our chapter and kind of rack our brains and go, wait a minute, how do the imperfects end on, s, a, amen, ere, on, or ontai? So you have these imperfect endings that you can review. And lo and behold, this is the imperfect ending of the first person plural. So we would translate this with the negation. Then we were not knowing. We're knowing because this is imperfect, right? Imperfect is the video clip unfolding of the action. Tas hadus, the feminine plural accusative, right? What were we not knowing? Tas hadus, the ways, the roads, the paths, various ways to translate it. Tes erenes, tes is the genitive singular. Erenes, the ways of peace. So then we were not knowing the ways of peace. Why is it we're knowing? Because we're looking at that first person, plural, imperfect, active, indicative. We were not knowing the ways of peace. But now, so it's contrasting back then and now, elusetai, this is one of those irregular future tenses. It's from erchomai. I come, I go. This is just one of those irregular futures. There's no way that you would know this, that you could predict that erchomai would become elusomai, or in this case, elusetai. And so this is just, you have to just know that this is a future tense form of erchomai. Omai, etai, third person, singular, future, active. It's actually future middle, but because it's from erchomai, it's one of those deponents. So the prophet is our subject. Why is prophet our subject? Ha prophetes is nominative singular, And that nominative tells me the subject of my verb, elucitai, which, by the way, is also third person singular. So it makes sense that I have a singular noun going with this singular verb. The prophet will come and but now the prophet will come and anoixe. So we look at anoixe and we go, okay, what's going on here? Well, remember that our old pal amalgamation. Amalgamation is what happens when you have a verb that ends in a consonant and that consonant clashes up against the sigma. So this is from the verb anoigo, I open. And when the gamma plus the sigma come together, you get kasi, anoixe, will come, and look at the ending, o, ace, a, third person singular, and will open, same subject, the prophet, will come and will open, tain cardion hemon, tain cardion hemon. So cardia with the new tells me, and also the tain tells me I'm looking at an accusative, singular, feminine noun, will open the heart, but I have this first person plural pronoun of us or our heart. Now, what's interesting is that it's plural, but it's one heart, singular heart. And this can happen with some organs. The heart in particular is this way, where you have one cardia, but it's not sort of saying we all share the same heart or something. It's just a way of describing what the prophet will do. The prophet will open the heart of us, or our hearts. Probably if this was in the New Testament, it would just be translated hearts in the plural, because that's how we would make sense of what it means. But of course, it is singular, and so you could just say the heart of us, and that's a good way to translate it. Okay, so all together, then we were not knowing the ways of peace, but now the prophet will come and will open the heart of us, or our heart. This is a good example of how futures can work. We also see this imperfect form, we see this irregular future, and we see this future with amalgamation. So a good example of the variety of verb tenses: imperfect, future, irregular future, future with amalgamation, all in the same sentence.